Good morning. So, bigger meals, fewer snacks, and why do I have more energy when I fast, when I'm using intermittent fasting? Now, it's a question that came up the other day, and two elements of this. The energy one's come up twice, actually, in the last week or so. So, a few elements of this. So, bigger meals, fewer snacks. Well, the reason this is working so well for someone right now is because quite often, if you think what you snack on, let's face it, it's calorific foods. They're highly palatable, often last a long time, so quite dry, so not a lot of water volume in them. When there's not a lot of water volume in there, what that means is it's going to keep you less full up in general, because food volume is a big indicator of how full you feel, along with protein and things like that. But volume is key, like psychologically as well, but also physiologically, like the amount going through your gut. That's why vegetables are so good as well, to bulk out your meals. So if you consider that when you look at snacky foods, they're often calorific, not that filling. Compare that to having a bigger meal, like someone now adds in a jacket potato that they're avoiding at their lunch, and then at their evening meal, when they have some fruit and yogurt for pudding, they wouldn't normally have that, or they add in an extra portion of protein in there, whatever. Add in some Mediterranean veg to bulk out their meal a little bit more, and have a bigger meal. Add some, whatever it is, even another few boiled potatoes or something. They're now gone from having 3 meals and nibbling throughout the day, like 3 small meals, nibbling to 2 meals, bigger meals, really satisfied. And I do think this has some element of how you grew up as well. Like growing up, we always used to have big meals. So I'd like to feel real satisfied. So I personally would rather eat fewer meals, but huge meals, and feel really, really satisfied and done with it. Smaller meals sometimes kind of make me more hungry. That's just me though. So there's a few elements there. And overall, over the day, they're enjoying their meals more because they're actually having what they want to have. And they're feeling more full up. And they're actually in a calorie deficit now, losing weight. Because remember the satiety index, which is the foods that keep you fuller for longer. So things like potatoes are quite good for that. But protein, fish, lean meats, great. In terms of carbohydrates, boiled potatoes seem to be the king of that. Things like oats seem to be quite high up on that as well in terms of carbohydrates, of course, vegetables, etc. But these foods are quite filling in comparison to snacky foods. Like, just for an example, a potato is about 8 times as filling as a croissant. Like this, I mean, it sounds obvious, right? But if you think about that throughout the day, you might feel, I'm just so hungry. Why am I so hungry? Food choices make an impact to this. So then the last element is, why do I actually have more energy? So they were struggling to fast a little bit at the start because it's a new thing, but they just wanted to try it. It's not something that I'd actually suggested they did. They just said, I've seen a lot of people fasting and I want to do this. And they struggled at the start, like that time, like mid-morning, like, a bit peckish now, but I said I wouldn't do it till 12:30. And that's fine, you can slowly build up. But a few elements of this could be that they're actually making better choices at their meals. So they're not snacking as much, so using the calories for snacks which don't give them as much energy as they thought they did. And 2, they're actually choosing better options at their meals now, like getting a good wholesome meal in rather than like nibbling, picking on the go, not having that structure. They're looking forward to that first meal now. They're sitting down, they're planning it. And it's like, you only got to plan 2 meals. It's a lot easier than planning the snacks, the nibbles, the small meals. That's going to give you energy because from a physiological point of view, like the nutrition you're getting in, but 2, from the mental capacity that you now have, like that's a big thing. On top of that, you could be getting some benefits from fasting from your body using fat as sources a little bit better. So perhaps if you look at like a ketogenic diet, you could be using some ketones in that fasting period, especially if you're exercising at that time, where people do notice an increase in their focus and their energy when they fast. But they're getting the best of both worlds by making sure that they're still having like their carbohydrates later, their protein later still. So a few things on there in terms of bigger meals, fewer snacks, less often, and why you have more energy when you fast. Potentially, not everyone, by the way. So let me know, have you tried fasting before? Has it worked for you? Has it not? Let us know. Feel free if you want to share your experience. I'm sure it will help someone else in this community as well, in terms of what worked, what didn't work. I mean, for me, when I was studying at Oxford Brookes doing my postgrad in nutrition, I used to get up early in the morning. This is back in the day. I would drive to Swindon from Marlborough. I would get the bus from Swindon to Oxford. I'd then be in all day, where you couldn't really eat, because often it'd be in labs. Often you can't eat in there. So often I wouldn't have the choice to eat, which was quite nice actually in some way. Then I'd leave there. I would then reverse it. I wouldn't eat there because I want to enjoy my meal. I would get the bus back to Swindon, sometimes eat on the bus on the way back, have a massive salad, like lean meat. So make sure I'm breaking my fast with lots of lean meat, lots of vegetables, salad, so that it's just lots of volume of food, because the danger is that you just get peckish. Get back in Swindon, then I'd personal train for the evening and then do it all over again. And I'd have another meal though at the end of the day when I got back. So I'd have that meal about 2 o'clock would be my first meal, quite a big meal there, but lots of protein. And in the evening when I'd get back, I would just literally have the calories to eat pretty much what I wanted. And that gave me a lot of flexibility. That was actually when I did physique and bodybuilding stuff then, and that actually allowed me to get quite lean without really thinking about it. And it just worked for my lifestyle then. But a little bit different now. Kids, 3 kids, family, in and out. But still the elements work the same in terms of I try and keep more of my calories for the evening when I eat with the kids, so we don't have to cook different meals, so we can just eat together, eat a bit more flexibly. You know, I'm just basically eating what they eat within reason. So, apart from last night when they had fish fingers and we had steak, but only because they don't like, I had a chat with a few people, it's the texture. They don't seem to like the texture of steak yet, which I'm not complaining. Fish fingers are far cheaper than a steak. So long may that continue. Anyway, have an awesome weekend, great Sunday, and I'll see you soon.